Hello YouTube. If you're a regular subscriber to this channel, this video is different, sorry. I have a couple of cats and my wife bought this really cheap self-brushing cat thing from the internet somewhere, and of course it's a cheap piece of crap and it broke as soon as my 17-pound female cat rubbed against it. Just the plastic pieces just broke off of the base. So the brush itself is pretty good and sturdy. This is garbage, so I'm going to make a new base for this. I just thought you might find it interesting to see, if you get something like this and are disappointed, maybe you can make something a little bit better. It's not real difficult if you have some power tools or a friend who has some power tools. So anyway, I'll show you how I make it. I'm starting out with some scrap plywood that I have. I'm lucky enough to have a lot of scrap pieces that I keep. You might be able to buy a hobby size piece from the big box home improvement stores. They usually have smaller pieces you can buy, and a lot of them will cut pieces to size. So I just picked this piece because it was approximately what I want. I'm going to cut this in half and stack these two pieces on top to make a thicker base. But you can just make this any size you want. I'm going to go outside and cut this in half. Quick tip, so I have a table saw right here, but I like cutting bigger pieces of plywood with a circular saw better. Table saws frighten me, to be honest with you. So I'm going to cut this outside on the ground. This is some pink rigid insulation, foam insulation. It comes in a big sheet. I cut it down into smaller pieces, and you can just set your wood on this, have your blade of your saw go into this, so it'll cut slits into it as you use it, and that protects the blade so you're not cutting into the ground, but you can just set this on the ground or on a table or whatever and have an even work surface. If you try to use sawhorses or something like that, as you cut, the pieces that you're cutting start to collapse in on each other and pinch the blade and do all kinds of crazy stuff. This is really easy and pretty inexpensive to do. I've been using these for a couple of years now and haven't had to replace them yet, so that might be something for you to try. Okay, so I've got my two pieces stacked, and I'm just going to bond them with some construction adhesive. This is probably overkill, but I have some, so. And then I'll just use some drywall screws to hold it together until the adhesive sets. Now I'm just going to mark where I want to drill holes to mount this brush thing. I mean, that's pretty darn close. We've got 5 1/4 inches in from this edge, 5 inches, just with hair under 5 inches, 6 1/4, 6 1/4. So I guess I could move it just a little bit this way, just to get it a little more centered, but it'll be plenty close enough for what we're doing here. So I've selected a drill bit that is a little bit bigger than the part I'm going to glue in. I could use something like a Forstner bit. This is much bigger than I would need for this. Forstner bit makes a flat bottom instead of the tip of the drill that makes kind of a concave hole at the bottom, or opening at the bottom. But I don't have one of the appropriate size, and it just doesn't really matter for this. Joke's on me. Oh wait. Ah. Can I reach it? Ah, just barely. I have a leftover piece of carpet from when I had some carpet installed here. So I'm just going to put the board on here. I'm going to trace around it. I'm not going to do anything to try to preserve the edges of this carpet. It's going to get mangled, but that's what it's for. So, and I'm just going to staple it in place. Might need some longer staples. Yep. I had to relocate the holes in the carpet, and I'm just going to melt the, hopefully. Guess I've been carrying empty lighter around. So now I'm just going to heat up this awl here and melt around it. Just want to get the hole in the carpet open enough so that I can get the brush inserted into it when I put some glue in it. You could use any kind of glue, I imagine, for this. I'm going to use this hot melt glue gun and some pretty high strength. I don't know anything about the specifications of this glue stick, but I've used it for a lot of stuff and it seems to be quite strong. So I'm just going to use that, and I think that should be plenty strong to hold this. Before gluing the brush part in, I had some shelf liner laying around. I thought that might be nice for keeping this steadier on our tile floor, so I just, on a whim, hot melt glued that on. And now I can glue this in. I'm just going to try to fill the hole with glue. And now let that set. That should be strong enough. So somebody better at woodworking than I am might make trim to go around these edges. There's probably lots of other things you could do, but this is good enough for me. So there's only one thing left to do, and that's to see if the cats approve of my improvements. Coquina, look. Yeah. See? Do you approve? What about you, buddy?